يمشي التراب يضمني وهو غطائي، حولي الرمال تلفني بل من ورائي، واللحد يحكي ظلمة فيها ابتلائي، والنور خط كتابه أنسي لقائي، أنسي لقائي.
Story to start with, inshallah. Long time ago, a person from Bani Abs, an old man, and he was a blind person as well, went to visit one of the Khulafa during the time of the Abbas period. So the Khalifa said to him, "How are you?" Asking about his. I intended to make it in Arabic so everyone can listen to me. Because put that in English, you're going to be reading English, you don't get to listen to me. So the Khalifa asked him, "How are you?" and finding out about his situation because he was in the room, he was blind, and he said to him, "Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, one day, oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, one day I used to be amongst Bani Abs. Bani Abs is counted to be the second biggest tribe after Quraysh, and they are holding the whole area of Najd in the old days. They were leaders, but they were not like Quraysh. They used to travel from a place to another place. So he said, during that time, he said, there is no one who had at that time wealth more than me, children more than me, horses more than me, camels more than me, children and states. I was the top. I had everything. Everything I had it. And he mentioned here, as you can see, maybe for those who know how to read Arabic, Ibil and Khayl and children and states and Jah, everything he used to have it at that time. And then he said, one day a flood came and took everything. Took Al-Ahad, the family, it took Al-Walad, the children, slaves, wealth, nothing remained with him except two things. He said, Walad, Ghulam, Hadith al-Wilada, means a baby, just a newborn baby, is still fresh, a child, very, very small one. And a camel, he said a small camel, and he described as Sharur. A Sharur means the camel that you can't hold. Is a baby camel that runs right and left. He's not really familiar with the owner of that camel. And you know the camel needs a time to be like to know you and to stay and listen to you. So he started running here and there. And he said, what happened after that? I went to my baby, I hold my baby, took my baby, the child, and I was running behind the camel. The story has a meaning. Please listen to it. It has a meaning at the end. Then he said, start running behind my little camel to hold it because from all that wealth, only two things left on me. I had my baby running behind the camel. I could not manage to stop the camel. And the camel running really right, left, and he is maybe possibly an old man. So he decided to leave the baby on the side and to run just behind the camel to stop him. By the time he left the baby on the floor, on the ground, and then he started running behind the baby to stop him. While he's doing that, he heard the baby crying. So he decided to stop running, and he went back to see the baby. When he got to the baby position, he found the baby already eaten by the wolf, the wild animal. And it's finished. Now, there are people during that time in Jahiliyyah, they have nothing really. So he left it, he started carrying on, running behind the camel. At least I get something from all this dunya. I have all of that, and then end with nothing. So he started running behind the camel and went on and on, running behind the camel. At the end, he managed to get the camel, and then after that, he managed to stop the camel. And where the time he's stopping the camel and holding the camel, he gave him a kick with his right or left back foot. And from that kick, he was really on the ground. He said, when I got up, I found myself, I could not see, blind. And he said,
So when I got up, I have no sight, my eyes gone, already my children are gone, already my family are gone. He said, no wealth, no khayl, no camels, nothing except me, and even with myself I don't have the sight. And he said, Falhamdulillahi ala dhalik. To see people sometimes, they used to be, and this is the purpose of this course today, you might be having a lot of wealth, you might be having a lot of children, you might be having estates and positions and all what you need in this dunya. But one day it can't, like this, it go, kun fayakun. It can't happen to anyone. So I intended to start without even saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How do you feel with this start? You know, sometimes I go, I'm saying this because the majority here are from India subcontinent background. When I go to the masjid, something I would like to share it with you. When I go to the Pakistani masjid, I know there's a view in there. The imam goes into the member and start talking without even saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I really don't like this particular action from Pakistani imams or scholars or whoever you're going to call them. They go into the member without saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So from me, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome to SAI, School of Arabic and Islamic Studies. And also welcome to Fiqh of Death, which is a course we announced nearly now more than a year, but we did not manage to do it. Alhamdulillah, as Brother Kamrul earlier said, thank you to the donor who supported us to run this course, inshallah. And welcome to everyone, brothers and sisters. Welcome to our brothers and sisters who are really regular to come to our classes, and those who are new to our course for the first time with us. So as you know, it's 2 days, and today is the Saturday, the 13th of July, and inshallah will be another day on the 21st, inshallah ta'ala. So quick reminders related to not to what Brother Kamrul said, you know what he said earlier, this reminders to do with my course, with what I'm going to say to you. First point, so please remember, the first point is, what I'm going to explain to you is like a list, a manual, so for going step by step for the requirement from the Muslims, looking to a Muslim perspective. I'm not going to tell you here in details what you needed outside to contact the council or contact the government or do this or do that. We are looking from an Islamic point of view what you need to know, and all of that is a summary, not really with a lot of details. Don't expect is a reminder. Because someone was calling and talking to me, he thought that's going to be like a ceremony, Friday ceremony, where I'll be shouting, I'll be doing this, and you'll be crying in there because I'm talking about death. It's not that. It's an academic level or style. So I'm going to explain to you what you need to do, inshallah, until the time after death. Also, there are some expectations. So please, if for those who don't know me, for those who came in you, I'm sure that you came in with a particular expectation in your mind. I'm not sure if you read the email or you did not read the email. You saw just the flyer. If you see the flyer without reading the email, then maybe that's you creating, you're building up some expectation. I'm going to see, as we were talking in the class, someone said that I'm going to, as soon as my relatives or a person related to me die, what shall I do? The first thing, shall I call the council? Shall I call the police? What shall I do? So you have an expectation in your mind. Today, I did explain what I'm going to say to you, and it was in the email, but I hope that I will meet what you are expecting and inshallah cover everything. And the hadith that I'll be using them in my explanation, you'll see them later inshallah, all of them are authentic. If there is any narration which is not authentic, then I will tell you. And I'll tell you also my explanation about it, because there's a reason why I mentioned it there, even if it wasn't authentic. But SAIS, it is home of authenticity. So really we're trying to get everything authentic, inshallah. This is for you all reference, because from the experience before the classes, especially Ramadan, some students are saying, oh, where is this? Is it authentic or not? Already I said that at the beginning, but then yet still some people are asking the questions. Last thing is nothing to do with the hadith, it's to do with the stories, like the previous story that you heard it earlier. So you enjoy stories. The stories that I mention here, they don't relate to anything haram or halal. I'm not telling you to do this. It's an obligation Sharia to do it, or it is a command in Sharia to avoid it. Therefore, it's a story. You like it, get the purpose, the moral behind this story, like it, take it, and enjoy it and take the lessons from there. You don't really enjoy it, then you leave it. But there are not rules related to these stories. However, I'll mention you the source of the story, and from there you can tell whether the story, the person who authored the book, mentioned by our scholars, all the scholars of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, inshallah. Okay, so that's the reminders. Now, our objectives for today, really it's one objective, but then it goes from to the other branches. I start from the time when you get sick. When the person gets sick, going step by step, you're going to hear something that maybe you know it before, or maybe you don't know it. I'll go with step by step. I made my effort to go with all the steps. You're going to see 35 points until the point that you will be announced, you, not me, just me, you, everyone in here, you will be announced that you are dead. All these steps, inshallah, there are some steps that you parents needs to do that, your children needs to do that, and some steps that you have to do it yourself before you get into that point. Before I start that, I have an introduction as well to go with it through that, and in there I'm going to introduce to you 4 realities that everyone need to know, be aware of that. Okay. So, the realities that I'm going to talk about them are, I start with, there are realities, you need to be aware of that, you need to focus on that. I start with this. In psychology, I think most of you, maybe you did not really know psychology, at least you studied that in your school in year 7 or year 8 or whatever the schools, or maybe some of you already graduated from this particular field. In psychology, they talk about something called positive thinking, or they call it sometimes positive mind. I'm sure that you have an idea in your mind now about this. To understand what I'm talking about in here, I'm going to share with you another story, and this story I would like you to focus, because I might ask you a question. And especially for those, I know still early, I'm going to see later on some people maybe are sleeping or they're not going to have their head down, so I'm going to pick on those people who are not paying attention, okay? So listen to this story, it's quite long, but I intend to talk about positive thinking and positive mind. This is really important to go to my 4 realities that I'm going to introduce to you. Okay, before I go into that, the definition of thinking, positive thinking or positive mind based on in psychology, they say, I think I agree with this, that's why I'm sharing that with you. I think it's a fantastic definition. Maybe there are some other definitions, but this is a very fantastic definition. So to see life with a beautiful perspective, filled with optimism and happiness while ignoring the negative aspects. What do you think? I think it's a beautiful definition for positive thinking, positive mind. Think about that. Now, I'm going to share with you this story is related to, I would say, great, very well known in Islamic history, Ahmad ibn Tulun. I'm sure for those I know now in front of me too, a father and his son, just a few weeks back they went to Egypt. I'm sure anyone went to Egypt, you heard of this person, Ahmad ibn Tulun. And I'm sure you went to the area where Nafisa is road and Nafisa area, square, where Sayyida Nafisa, you know the graveyard of Sayyida Nafisa? In that area there's a big masjid. It's one of the main places to visit in Cairo. It's called Masjid Ahmad ibn Tulun. It's a very famous because the warehouse being built in there is completely different from the style of building the masajid in North Africa, in Egypt and North Africa. Ahmad ibn Tulun was the leaders of Muslims in Egypt and big part of Asham in the 3rd century. See, he died in 270. So it's the early time. He segregated himself. He got independency, if I may call it, from the Abbasi Khalifa, and he was appointed by the Khalifa, the Abbasi Khalifa, to be the leaders of the Muslims or the ruler, the governor of the Abbasis in Egypt. Time he found himself that I'm powerful, I have everything. You know why I need to be related to the Abbasi Khalifa? How can I be independent, to be myself? So he established his own empire and he lived for a long time, and also his children, they ruled the country after him. So he was a well-known person. Now, coincident, today, what's today's Islamic calendar? Is there, so you can use your cleverness, isn't it? is the 10th of Dhul Qa'dah today, and he died like today. Today is the day when he died, 1,170 years, if my mathematics is correct, because 270, we are 1440 minus 270, how many years? 1,170 years. I'm right or wrong? Now, this person died. So we're going to talk about a story. It happened during that time. This person, again, is in Arabic, to pay attention to me and look at me. This person, Ahmad ibn Tulun, imagine he is the Sultan. He is the Khalifa of the Muslims in that particular area. He went out with his guard, with his servant, into the Nile river, Nahrun Nil as we say in Arabic, and in there in his boat with his, with those people are rich people, they go into the boat and they go into the river not to fish and to live. They go there for what? Enjoyment. They go to just enjoy themselves, hot, or maybe seeing the other people, or maybe if is good leader to look to the people as well, that he looked after them. So while he was in the Nile River, he saw another boat in the side of the river, an old man with his child, youth child like Zakaria and Yusuf, and this old man, he's wearing an old dress, old clothes. These old clothes are not even covering his whole body. Covering the aura, you can see, sometimes someone is poor, his trousers are cut from here or the top. You can straight away, Ahmad ibn Tulun felt very sorry for that particular person with his child who's standing or they are in the boat, they are fishing to get some income for themselves. He felt so sorry. The same thing with his child, he's not rich. He was full of, dresses are very old. So he said to his servant is Nasim. He said, Ya Nasim. It's a Pakistani name, isn't it? Nasim. I think it was Pakistani in Egypt at that time. Okay. He said, Ya Nasim. He said to him, pay to this fisherman, pay him 20 dinar. 20 dinar at that time. Dinar is a gold. When you say dinar in Arabic, means you're referring to gold. And imagine 20 dinar like that for someone who's poor, never seen that in his life. Sometimes poor people, you give them the 50 note, the red one, and the crispy ones. Oh my God, something that you feel inside your heart is moving, isn't it? Because something that you don't see all the time. So he sent his servant Nasim, he said to him, go and pay him the 20 dinar. And then the Sultan, the leader, went with the river, carrying on with his journey. In his way back, they went back with the same way where they met this old man with his child. Are you with me, everyone? You still remember the story? Okay, I need to ask you questions. Please remember this, yeah? So he, in his way back with his group, servant and army and everyone, he saw on the side of the river the child crying and crying and crying, and a body lying on the floor, and the person's crying. Who's that? The person who saw him earlier. Quickly now, he said, just go on the side of the river, let's see. Straight away, Ahmad ibn Tulun thought that, in his mind, he thought that someone killed the poor guy, the poor man in there, and he took the 20 dinar. This is the thinking of Ahmad ibn Tulun, as it was narrated in the story in here. The story was taken from his life. There's Ibn Dayya, he wrote a book about the life of Ahmad ibn Tulun, and he mentioned this in there. So he went into the side of the river, and they checked in with the child. What happened? Who killed your father? What happened to him? There is no injury, no knife, nothing in there. He said to him, guess what he said to him? He's standing in there. He said, this is the person. Not brother, not this, okay. My queen said it. He said, this is the person the one who killed my father. Guess who's that? Nasim, that we talked about him earlier. Nasim, not the Pakistani one, the Egyptian one. Nasim, the one who was the servant of Ahmad ibn Tulun, he said him, how? He was with me all the time. He said to him, he came and he spoke to my dad and he gave him something in his hand, and as soon as he went, my dad started looking right, left. We say in Arabic, yuqallibuhu. Yuqallib means that, like this. Oh, iPhone 7. Oh, my first time. You see it? Oh, this, looking like this. He's holding what was given to him, maybe a bag or maybe the dinar. So holding that, and just after a few seconds or time, the person just lied down, finished. Life ended, died. He said, he's the one who killed him. And straight away, Ahmad ibn Tulun, he understood that, what is the story? The story is this person, before that, he said to his servant, just search the scene and search the place and search the old man. And they were looking around and looking in his clothes and what he had. They found the money, everything was there, everything, nothing had been taken away. So it means there were no criminals here, nothing, not a crime. It's just something that happened from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of that incident. He said after that, he decided, the Ahmad ibn Tulun, to give the money to his son, the son of the old man. Now, the son of this old man, he said to him, la, I'm not going to take it. I don't want it. I don't want to die in the same way as my father died. This has killed me, I'm not going to take it. This has killed my father, I'm not going to take it because it killed my father, it might kill me as well. I think for some of you, maybe you think it's a little bit weird. It's not really clear, isn't it? But imagine old days, and if you did not go to central London, or maybe when you go back to India or Pakistan, and if you didn't see some very, very poor people, when you give them not the £1, you give them that red pennies, whether 2p or 1p, they feel sometimes, you give them something really big for some poor people. I know I was told that in Pakistan nowadays they want just the pounds. They don't even rupees. Even the rupees, they don't want it. Give me a pound, because they know that you come from London, isn't it? So, but forget about nowadays generation. In the old days, that's how they were. That's how the people are. So he said to him, he rejected the atiyah, he rejected the giving from the Ahmad ibn Tulun. He said, no, I'm not going to take it. Then Ahmad ibn Tulun said to his ministers, here's the Pakistani one. We should have said about Pakistan earlier. Anyway. Ahmad ibn Tulun said to his servants, he said, I'm not going to blame him, the child, because that is understood. He said, Al-Ghani, the rich, when you reach the richness, he said, the poor ones, يحتاج إلى تدرج. A tadarruj means bit by bit. When you go in one go and you get all that millions, you might die. So you need it bit by bit to get into that level, to be used to have that wealth. Anyway, the story, what I intend with it, to go to this. I hope that's clear. In my computer was very clear, but in here I think it's not very, very clear. Okay, this is how they, in psychology, that's how they think about positive thinking, and I'm just put it up in here. Okay, that's how they think about positive thinking and positive mind. So starting now, going back to the story, thinking about the negative here, thinking or the negative mind from the story, what can you think in there was and is not really right thinking in there? Okay, one of the brothers, please, quickly. I said to you to think, I said to you to focus about the story. From the whole story, what is there something? Okay, I'll give you one. The Ahmad ibn Tulun, he straight away, he thought that someone killed the person. He's thinking from a rich mind person. It's negative in there. That I gave you the money, my money is there. Oh, you come to me, you want to steal me. Oh, you want my money. Oh, you're not really a friend of mine. You want my money, isn't it? That is the negative thinking, the negative mind in here. Now, realistic, the child, there are many points you can think about it. I wrote in my notes about for each one about 3 or 4. So just go back to the story, think about it, you can put some points for each one. Now, realistic and realistic mind. Someone is realistic in there. So let's say the old man and his son, they're not really bothered about even the Khalifa or the leader when he's passing by. We are okay, we old every day, we are fishing, whatever we get in there, this is our eating, as we say in Arabic, Alhamdulillah. Isn't it? I don't need to go and run and see the Khalifa or the leader, oh, you know this, oh, how are you, oh, you're making that welcoming to get maybe some atiyah. Realistic, I'm okay, I'm happy with how I am. And also there are some realistic thinking and realistic mind from the Khalifa or from the ruler himself. Now go to the realistic mind or realistic thinking will lead you, will take you, and that is the benefit. At least you should have that. At least for us, we should have a realistic, because you're being realistic with what you have around you. But if you are in that situation, will lead you, will take you to the positive thinking. What is the positive thinking in from the story? I would choose here what the child did. I don't want that money. I'm okay. Because that, although we know it's not the one who killed the father, it's from a qadarullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But why I need to get 20 dinars when I know that later on I'm not going to have them. I'm going to continue being with I'm going to finish them. I'm going to end them. I'm going to have something with that. And then back to the old story, which is fishing. So it is that being with I'm realistic and then get straight into my positive thinking. I don't need to run behind this dunya because I know where I am now. I'm continue where I am. I'm happy with my life. You got my point? Okay. Now, the good Muslim, the good person, in my view, all the time in this life, while you're alive, you need to be all the time. The minimum of that, you need to be realistic with yourself. You need to be, your mind, you're thinking all the time, whether you're a male or female. Realistic thinking, realistic mind will lead you, inshallah, later on into having the positive and having the mind or the positive thinking, inshallah ta'ala. Now, having this particular mind will lead you, as I said earlier, takes you to, and that's what I'm going to introduce now, the 4 realities. The 4 important realities. Now, if you have this particular mind, then we'll take you the first reality, which is I'm alive. Now, the father, the poor man and his son, I don't care. You have plenty of people around you. You have a lot of soldiers and you have servants, but I'm alive. I'm okay. I'm still fishing. I'm doing my business. I'm living. I'm doing what I need to do for my daily and my life completely. So this is the first point that we're going to talk about this, inshallah. I'm going to introduce the 4 realities and then talk about each one individual. The second point, this life is beautiful. For the poor man with, not really nice dress and, poor t-shirt and trousers, for him was beautiful life. They leave in the morning, they go for fishing, they come back with 2-3 fishes and then they sell them. They're happy. The life for them is beautiful. The definition of a beauty is different from a person to another person. We'll talk about that, inshallah. Third point, at one point, if you have the first one and second one, if you are realistic, if you have the positive mind and you are realistic with yourself, you can see that with everyone. Even if it was the ruler, the leader, one day, at one point, you will get sick. One day you will get ill, and from that illness, you might be cured or might be. That's the end of it. It comes into one day, you will die. So 4 realities. You are alive now. So alhamdulillah, that's you are here. And whatever you do, enjoy it. Life is beautiful. And we're enjoying that now. We're enjoying being together. We left home. The whole Saturday, inshallah, the whole morning will be together. It's beautiful. And then put in your mind, there are at one point, the one time you're going to get sick and ill, you need to prepare for that. And there will be a time when you're going to die. If you have positive thinking, positive mind. Can you see my point now? Okay, now let's go to the first reality, which is you are alive, and that's why you are in front of me. Don't be the person who's alive dead or dead alive. The one who's alive but inside is dead. Your body there, eating, drinking and going, no life inside. But you're alive, so there is a lot of things that you can do. One of the things that we say all the time, if we are good Muslims, if not, then one of the things is that we should all the time remember to say in the morning, as Rasulullah taught us, Alhamdulillah alladhi ahyani wa ahyana ba'dama amatana wa ilayhi nushur. You can say it in a singular form or you can say it in a plural form. You have to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be grateful and thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who continuing giving you a life, and you're still alive after that, you slept for 8 hours, 7 hours, 5 hours. So Alhamdulillah الذي أحيانا بعدما أماتنا وإليه النشور.
فرش التراب يضمني وهو غطائي، حولي الرمال تلفني بل من ورائي، واللحد يحكي ظلمة فيها ابتلائي، والنور خط كتابه أنسي لقائي، أنسي لقائي.